Today, I am doing one of my favorite types of videos to watch, and that is design advice for my subscribers. I've always wanted to do one of these, so I asked a couple videos ago for people to send in their homes and if they need design advice. I have 4 here today. I'm going to do another video, so if anyone else wants to submit their photos, feel free to DM me. Starting off, we have Camila. She wanted some help with her daughter's nursery. I love decorating nurseries. I had a really fun time decorating my son's nursery, and I had a lot of fun doing her nursery. So she recently painted the entire room and ceiling and baseboards yellow, and it is so cute. It's the perfect shade of yellow. Y'all know I love when the room is drenched in color, especially the trim. I think that just looks so good and really elevates the space. And she has these built-in cabinets, and I am obsessed. It's giving Matilda Goad, and I love that. She did mention in her DM to me she loves Matilda Goad, Lucy Williams, and I said, we're going to be besties. So starting off, she had a really great base. Love the color, love the cabinets, love everything. And she has a really nice paper lantern, which I am a huge advocate for. I think if you have a space where you don't want to spend a ton on the light fixture, go for a paper lantern. They always look good. Since Camila already had really great bones to the space, I just wanted to add in more color because the wall color is so pale and the rug is pale and the chair. I wanted to add in some primary colors because I love primary colors, especially in a child's room. This is a great opportunity to use those blues, reds, yellows. So I wanted to try a different rug out in her space. This one's great, but I think it could be even better if there was a rug with some blue and red in it. So I just put down this soft blue rug with red stripes around it. And she definitely doesn't have to get rid of the rug, but if she were to, I think something fun like this would be really great. Like I said, I love the look of primary colors, especially in different tones. It doesn't have to be so looking like the color of like toys, you know? It can be like a pale, pale yellow and like a more teal aqua blue, and then a more muted red. I think starting off with a great rug, you can kind of balance the rest of the space off of the colors of that rug. And then going along with the colorful theme, I think a nice deep saturated color curtain would look really good. For these, I chose like a burnt orange color. I think it's really fun to mix tones. And again, like I said, build off of those bigger pieces like curtains or rugs, things like that. I love the look of this burnt orange against the yellow, and it kind of goes with the red in the rug. I just think that looks really good, and you can get these anywhere. Etsy, Amazon if you want. You can even dye curtains. Just get some like Rit dye and you can do them any color you want. I also love the idea of a quilt hanging in a child's room. I had a quilt hanging in my room when I was little, and I just think it looks so cozy and I just love it. And there's obviously so many colors in the quilt you can build off of. I found this one and I thought it was so sweet looking with the flower. It has that orange, blue, green. It takes up a lot of wall space and it's not a hazard if it falls or something, because you know how kids love to yank on stuff, and it's easy to hang. They can be a little pricey, but if you just kind of do some digging, you can find a really good deal. And then beside that, because she said she loves Matilda Goad, I put in some Matilda Goad sconces. These are wired sconces, so I'm not sure if she would be willing to do that, but you can totally just buy like Matilda Goad lampshades if you want them, and then get plug-in sconces, because I know not everyone wants to rewire their wall, but I love a sconce on either side of a painting, a mirror, anything. I love a sconce. Matilda Goad already has that kind of whimsical, childlike style, so adding in her lampshades would be perfect for a space like this. And then going off of that quilt, I think a nice piece of art that has those primary colors, but also some fun pops, like a green would be really good. Some people don't like putting like art above their crib, but I think if you fasten it like really well with command strips and whatever, then I think it's fine. So that's just an option. I love art above a crib, but I can understand if people don't like doing it. But I do think this is a good opportunity to add in some color. For the crib sheets, I always love doing a pattern. I think adding in another striped element will look really good, and adding in something with complementary colors to the yellow walls is great. And I think since she has a crib that's just a neutral wood tone, you can do any color sheets you want and it'll look great. And then next to the chair she already has, I like the chair she has. I think it's great. It'll go with a bunch of different styles. I don't think she needs to swap that unless she wants to. My chair I have in my son's room is from Namesake, and it's like a glider rocker and it's floral pattern, so that's another great option if you were ever looking to change. But I just put this kind of not wicker, but like whatever that soft braided material is, to put your daughter's toys in. I like having storage that's also really cute, and it's nice to add in a different texture because if everything is kind of like cloth, it's nice to have like a more wood tone texture in there. And then lastly, I just have this lamp because she had a lamp there that was very similar, but I think again adding in a little bit of color will help warm up the space. Having a wood base to the lamp will really help the space not feel as cold, I guess. And I really like the blue, like kind of powdery baby blue against the yellow walls. And then I love like a little reading nook. This one I found on Etsy. It's like a mustard yellow and you can hang it from the ceiling, maybe put like a beanbag under it. I think it's really fun to have a little space for kids to kind of go off and do their thing. And then lastly, by her cabinets, I just put in this green bookshelf and then some floral pieces of art above it. I think this type of art looks really good with the rest of the room. The handles of the cabinets are like flowy, kind of give flower vibes. So going off of that would be really great for the art. So that is Camila's nursery, her daughter's nursery. The room already looked great. I just kind of amplified the color because y'all know I love color. Hopefully you like it. Let me know what you think, but I think it's fun. I think you can still make a nursery girly and show that it's for a girl, but if you have more kids, it's fun to kind of add in elements that are kind of neutral, and I think primary colors really help that, so you don't have to change the nursery every time you have another kid. You can kind of keep it the same and add in little touches, and primary colors, I think, are a great base for doing so. Next, we have Mariana, and she sent me her apartment. Her apartment is a very typical modern apartment, very gray. It can easily lean very cold because it's, a lot of gray. I did a whole video on this about how to bring life into your apartment because it can be really hard to do. So I had a blast doing this. I kind of just redid everything, but I am going to show you how it's actually easier than you think to bring warmth into your kind of gray apartment. So for Mariana, she kind of gave me free reign. I could do whatever. So I kind of put my own twist on it and what I would do if I was living here or if I was visiting her apartment and she asked for my advice. This is what I would tell her to do. Starting off again with the rug. I love a red or orange rug, especially against gray. I think if you were to do a blue rug or a green rug, it just wouldn't help the cool tones in the space. So having a large area rug that's a warm toned will really help. I found this one on Etsy. I just love like the orange color. I think it looks so good. And I would just get as big as you can get. And then on top of that, I would personally switch out the armchair and ottoman you have. I think adding in a primary color like blue, this is kind of a denim blue, that's still a cool tone, but adds in a lot more interest than a beige color chair, and you already have a white couch, so I think adding in a color make a huge difference in your space. I think 2 chairs is really nice, especially because your space has a decent amount of size. You can kind of get away with 2 chairs there, and it rounds out the space. Before, it kind of felt like empty, and then you just have 2 seating elements, so I think kind of making it kind of like a circle, rounding out that space for seating makes the space flow better and feels a little bit more intentional. And then beside those chairs, I would do a wood element and then a more modern element. Since your space is already so modern, I think a side table like this one from IKEA would be great, but it's still really colorful with the pop of like neon yellow green. And then finding a cool vintage piece for the other one would be really great. And then adding a nice vintage lamp on top. And then in the middle, I would do a really big square or round coffee table. This is so both of those chairs can use the coffee table and the couch. Speaking of the couch, I actually really like it. There's nothing wrong with a white couch, and it has a wood element on the side. I think just switching out the blanket and the pillows would be really great. I added in some blue and purple and green pillows. I love a pop of like cobalt. I just think it looks really good in every space. And then the purpley reddish pillow has that kind of lime accent to it that matches the side table. And then above that, I think a large piece of art that has bright colors in it and a really fun frame. Since we already have some wood going on, I would do a colored frame. You could paint it, or if you want to just get a giant canvas, you don't have to have a frame around it. I personally don't love a gallery wall, like a bunch of little pictures all on one space, especially above the couch. That's not my thing. So I would opt for a larger piece and something a little more quirky, again, with that color. I think that's very fun. Or even just a large photograph, something big. And then, of course, beside that piece of art, you gotta do some sconces. Again, these can be plug in, especially in an apartment. You're not going to be able to rewire the walls. You're not going to be able to rewire the walls. So plug in would look really good. I just love the look of a sconce. It amplifies your space so much, and I feel like you look very professional. Anyway, next to that, you already have a desk, but I think if you wanted to, opting for a wood desk would look really, really good. And then for me, I love a fun, not so functional office chair, but I completely understand if you want to keep the one you have or get something like that. I would opt for something just a little bit more stylish, but still comfortable. Maybe a red color or a leather, something like that. This one I'm obsessed with. It's just a red structure with cane on the back and the seat. I just love the contrast of that like lacquered red with the vintage wood table. And then above it, I would do a bulletin board. And then, of course, you can have your TV monitor on your desk, but I just love the look of a bulletin board. And then lastly, I would strongly recommend getting some curtains and blinds. These curtains I'm obsessed with. They're these like pea green thin curtain. So of course you're going to want something more sturdy because that doesn't have a lot of light diffusion. So I would get a bamboo shade underneath it. You can get those on Amazon, Etsy. I've said Etsy a million times in this video, but I love the look of a layered blind and a curtain. If you can't do the blinds because you're in an apartment, I would just do the curtains. I would put them from the ceiling all the way to the floor, and that will make your space look even bigger. And having this green shade against the warm wood makes your space look so much cozier. Those are all the things I would do for this space if I lived here. I think it's really just about getting colorful pieces, and it shows that you can still have the pieces you already own, like that white couch. I actually really, really like that couch, and I would not get rid of it, of course, but just adding small things like pillows or a blanket will improve your space a lot. And I think all the things that I added are still functional for apartment living, but still show personality and style, because it can be, like I said, very hard to make an apartment your own, but with elements like those big curtains, it looks way more personal and intentional, and you really make the space your own when you do things like that. I hope you liked it. Let me know. Moving on. Next, we have Chloe. Chloe lives in Australia, which is crazy. I've always wanted to go there. But for Chloe's living room, she has a really great living room. It's already giving mid-century vibes. She has really great bones to the space. For Chloe, she likes light and bright pieces. She was looking for paint advice as well, and she did mention she might eventually switch out the carpet to wood flooring, which I would highly suggest just because this carpet is so dark. I think a wood floor would be a drastic change and really, really help the space. So for the walls, I went for this pink color. I love the look of pink walls with dark pink trim. I chose a pale pink for the ceiling and the walls, and then the trim at the top, I did a darker pink, and then the trim around the doorways, I did a really dark pink, almost like burgundy. I think this looks so good. I love the look of like mid-century pieces with pink because mid-century is so opposite of like there's no pink in mid-century, and y'all know how I feel about mid-century. It's not my thing, but if you mix it with more whimsy, fun elements, then it can be very good. I would start off after the wall color with a big rug. I just chose this cream rug with a little bit of colored accents. I think there's like brown and beige and yellow. Giant area rug is going to be great, especially if you're waiting to get wood floors. A nice large rug like this will really help brighten up the space because I think this carpet is like charcoal gray. I would do like a mid-century couch, but have some color on it. I found this one and it's like a buffalo check with green and blue, and I'm obsessed. And then it has that wood element on the side. I love this. I think this couch is so cool and it goes with the base, the structure of the home already. And then I would mix in a floral element because I love florals. I couldn't help but put one in here. So this is actually an IKEA ottoman, but this brand Bims, they make these really cool slipcovers you can put on any IKEA model, and I'm dying to get one of them. I would love to get like a chaise lounge and then put one of their covers on it. But this one reminded me of Matilda Gode's like chaise lounge that she has, which I want very badly. But I thought this was a fun element. It added a little bit of girliness and pattern to the room, and I think it complements the buffalo check really well. And I can't help but put like a British element in. Y'all know I love a frill. And then beside it, I would do like a cane or wicker chair. I put this in every space. Y'all know how I feel about cane. It's everywhere in my home. But I think this would add in kind of a coastal feeling. And since she lives in Australia, even though I don't know anything about Australia, in my head, I'm like, oh, it's so coastal. It's giving H2O. You know what I mean? So I put one of these in your space and then a fun, colorful patterned blanket on top. I love building colors of a space off of like a pillow or a blanket, and I think this blanket I found has all the colors I think you should put in your home, like that bright pink, the blue, the green, the yellow. And behind that, I think you should put a giant piece of art. I have already said this, but I love an original piece of art that looks kind of like a child did it. And I think this piece of art that I found, or something like this, would look so good with the pink walls if you choose to do that, and the couch, and it takes up a lot of space. And beside it, guess what I'm going to put? Can anyone guess? It's a sconce. These, though, are seashell sconces. I found these on Pinterest. I think they're off of Etsy. Again, how many times can I say Etsy in one video? I'm obsessed with these. I love a seashell. And I think this paired with the pink wall just looks so good. And then it has the gold background. And then beneath it, I would do a really cool vintage bench. This one I found, I forget where it was from. I just found it on the internet, and it has this really nice bright green base bench. And then like the tops and backs of dining chairs on it. It's so cool. So something like this that's just a cool seating element. You can put books on top of this, use it as storage. People don't have to sit there, but I think this is a really great opportunity to add in a vintage element. And then beside it, I'm really, really into bookcases right now. I mean, they're classic, like it's not a trend or anything, but having like the Billy bookcases from IKEA, you can paint those if you want, or finding something vintage like this and just putting all your knickknacks in. I'm obsessed with that, and I really want to do that in my own home. So I put this here because before you had this kind of hutch, and I think if you ever wanted to change that out and still have a wood element, this is a great way to do that. And then on the other side of the room, I put in another one of those BIMS IKEA seat covers. This is the chaise lounge, but I did it in this bright chartreuse because I love chartreuse and pink. I think it looks so good. So I would really recommend putting a chaise or something in that corner to extend the seating. And then I put a mirror above it with a wooden frame around it, and it's a fun kind of curved shape. And you can keep your plant because I like that plant. And then with the TV console, I personally would like to see that in a red color because, again, I love primary colors. I think you cannot go wrong with primary colors. So having that bright red console mixed with the blue of the sofa and then the chartreuse greeny yellow of the seat in the back, I think it just looks very rounded out and the colors look really complementary. If you are looking for a little project, might I suggest painting it? And then I also think if you ever wanted to, you could switch out the light fixture at the ceiling. Again, it's a paper lantern. I love a paper lantern. You just can't go wrong. It's going to look good in any space and it's very affordable. And then I wanted to show y'all another angle of that cabinet, the hutch. I think next to the windows, because she also wanted window treatments, I reused those green curtains in the last one because I think green in this space would look so good. Again, with the pink walls and the couch and the wood. I just love this color. It looks so good. And I think, again, a really long, flowy curtain would look great. So yeah, that is what I did for Chloe's space. Thank you, Chloe, for submitting. I hope you like it. I do think you should paint your walls pink. Just saying. Or like a nice, deep, powdery, gray blue. I think that would look really good. Let me know if you do this, because that would be everything. I love pink. Hopefully you like pink too. Last but not least, Joanna. She wanted me to look at her kitchen and her dining area. Joanna actually did like little renderings herself and sent them to me, which is amazing. Thank you so much. They really got her point across, and that was so helpful to kind of get her vision. But you definitely don't have to do that if you submit pictures to me. It was nice that she did that. So starting off with her dining area, she said she wanted to put in storage at the back, and I think that's a great idea. It'd be very helpful. So I chose this one from IKEA and then I just photoshopped it to be green because, again, I love green. So I think painting that a nice fun color and then switching out the knobs for like a brass knob would look really, really good. And then above that, I would do a large piece of art and, of course, sconces next to it because I can't help it. These are candle sconces though, so no wiring involved. And then underneath it, I would do a little vintage piece of art. And then on top of that, I would do a really fun lamp. And this one I chose has a marbled paper shade. I think that looks so good. And then some fruit bowls. I love a fruit bowl. You can put them anywhere. For the table and chairs, I love a tulip table, especially in a smaller space like this. A white tulip table will never go out of style. I love it. Luke Edward Hall has one in his home and it just looks so good. It goes with any style. You can have English traditional style, you can have mid-century style. It'll go with everything. And then for the chairs, I think this is a nice area to add in a wood element. And then I found these that are upholstered on the bottom with different colors, and I just think that looks so good. Again, adding in color. And then for the rug, I would recommend doing a colorful rug. This one I found, I think, again, Etsy, like a kind of orangey with blue and green. And then for the curtains, I did these gingham yellow curtains. This is just an idea of what you could do. I love a patterned curtain. I think it's really fun. Or you could just do blinds, like bamboo shades if you want. You can find these lots of places. And then again, above the table, I would switch out the light fixture for this lantern. This one's from IKEA and I love this one. It reminds me of Beata Heyman. She has one that looks just like this and I just think it looks so good. So that is what I would do for your dining area. Not a ton of changes, but the changes that have been made are pretty impactful, especially with the color and the shapes. So yeah, I hope you like that. And now I'm going to go to her kitchen. So for her kitchen, she wanted layered rugs and possibly a utensil rack and pot rack hanging from the ceiling. So I included both of those because I think those are really good ideas. So I did a jute square tile rug. I put that down. And then she wanted a blue rug on top. So I found this vintage rug and layered that. I love the look of a layered rug. And then on top of that, I love a small butcher's block table. This one is like a little round table. You can use it as like a cutting station. She sent in other pictures of the space and it is pretty big. I think she would have space for this. It doesn't really look like it in this picture, but the different angles she sent me, I think a small table like this would be really helpful. And since you don't have like a ton of counter space, having something like this is very useful. And then again, above it, I would do that pot rack. I think that's really smart. And that just reminds me of like Nancy Meyers movies, like really cozy coastal kitchen vibes. So great idea again. And then I would switch out the light fixture for one of these tulip shades. I found these a long time ago and I've always wanted one. They're just these like clip-on shades you put above a light fixture. They're made for like those boob lights. But yeah, I love these and they come in a bunch of different colors. That's a very easy fix if you wanted to cover it just to add in some color. And then at the back wall, she had her aprons hung, but I would put those elsewhere to be honest. I think this space could be great for a big still life instead of those aprons. So I found this still life that includes all the colors of the kitchen. I think this would look really good and it's not going to get in the way of the fridge because the fridge is right there. You don't want to swing it and have it hit something. And then for the trash can, personally, I mean, there's nothing wrong with a silver trash can, but if you wanted to add in more color, I think something like this, I think this is from Simply Modern, but this is like a pale yellow, and I think it looks really good with the art and the rugs. So just an idea. And then lastly, I would just work on styling your countertop. I love, y'all know, a lamp and a picture in a kitchen. I just chose this metal lamp and it's like a yellowy green color and then a vintage piece of art behind it and a salt cellar. This one's from Brianna Heyman and I want it very badly. But, you know, I love like a little pot for your salt. And then she had this little storage unit, but I think having something like this that's like tiered in wood will look a little bit better. I know sometimes you just have to have storage in your kitchen. It's inevitable, but something like this will really impact the space and make everything look just a little more amplified. So that is what I did with the kitchen. Nothing crazy. I wanted to keep it realistic and not like tear down your cabinets, you know, and she's a rental, so I didn't want to do anything too unrealistic. But I think all of these are really small upgrades, but anyone can do them and they will make, I think, a huge difference. So that is Joanna's space. I just did a few little things and I hope you like them. So yeah, those are the 4 spaces. I hope the lovely ladies that sent them in enjoyed them. I definitely want to do another part to this video. I had a lot of fun doing this. It brought me right back to my interior design school days. I went to school for interior design, so all I did was renderings in Photoshop and Revit and whatever. So it brought me back. Thank you for that. If anyone else wants to send in photos of their home for advice, you can DM me, you can email me. Again, thank you so much to those who submitted photos and trusting me with giving advice for your home. I had a lot of fun. I hope you guys liked it, and I hope to do many more of these in the future. Okay, love you all. Bye.